Toronto Marlies finishing out the regular run of their schedule in the American Hockey League against a tough opponent, the Rochester Americans. Connor Knapp will get the start in net for the Emirates. Drew McIntyre at the other end. He has held this Marlies team together, has shut the door in the third period more nights than not, and he takes his 2.52 goals against average and puts it on the line in the last game.
Still before they're going to be pros.
Cutting in backhander scores, and the Rochester Americans, who were 3 minutes into this one before they made a real offensive charge.
Well, Schaller gets the goal, but he also had the opportunity that they had a little bit earlier.
Getting it into Carrick, who cuts in, takes the shot, scores! Sam Carrick ties it up at one apiece. Verhage puts it on his glove, now Devant. Little backhander in, and it's cleared away up high. Yo, that's one blind, he scores! Dylan Yo. He's got a great shot, and we haven't seen a lot of it this year. He hasn't got in a lot of games, but when he gets in, he makes a mark. Wide it goes. Jacobs shot, pounder off the pads. Here's McKenzie in tight and off the stick, and right in the back door on Drew McIntyre. Two apiece. The Rochester Americans come up with an odd angle goal. Carries it himself, hangs on, still working it. Gets some speed under the skates, in behind the net, still hanging on to it. Round the world, here we go again. Brandon Kozin leaves it back. Marshall lets it go out front. And he'll pick it up again as Brandon Kozin continues to circle the wagon. And finally they hit him and knock him straight down to the ground. And we got a penalty coming up. Now Ruedel again. Tries to get some speed into it. Throws it back out front. Schaller, little backhander, scores. Side of the net. Braden Irwin and the crowd didn't see how that one got past Drew McIntyre, but the goal judge sure did. Here's Carrick. Steps back out front. Sends it back up to Marshall. Circuitous route out front. Laying there up top. Levo scores! Josh Levo with his 23rd of the year. At 5:32, evens it up between the Marlies and the Emirates.
You know, this line has done it all game long. Sam Carrick and again, it's McKay who get in there on the forecheck. The pass across, it almost gets tipped out, but Marshall keeps it in. He throws it on the goaltender and reaching around. As I think this is a lone goal by the Rochester Americans. I think the defenseman Crawford is going to try and swat that puck out of the way, and it's spinning. And I think that the stick of Levo might have caught the stick maybe a bit of Crawford's on that play. But the end result is the puck gets back behind the goaltender Connor Knapp, and we're all tied up at 3 goals apiece.
Down in the corner, the Rochester Americans comes back out as TJ Brennan moves it back along for Brad Staubitz, and McLaren was offside. And now Staubitz gets in a bit of a tangle here with Colin Jacobs. And now turns on Waz. Wah tries to pull himself out of there. Fraser McLaren has a couple on top of him. Gauthier Leduc and Tuzolino. McLaren gives Gauthier Leduc a little bit of a shot. And Wah continues to try and pull at Staubitz, and that's one of those moments where you kind of feel like, just look, if there's going to be something that starts, let it start. Looking up ice, here's Brandon Kozin down the right side with some speed. Kozin across the blue line, looks in, goes around behind the net, hangs onto it again. Kozin looks at it, fires it back off the boards, and now Smithson up to Yo, hammers it, snapped out of the air by Connor Knapp. Stuart Percy back in his own end, hangs on, moves it up along the boards. Biggs is right there, got off him a little harder than he thought it would. Now the Marlies have to get an extra effort. Here's Carrick in by himself. Sam Carrick scores! Sam Carrick makes it 4-3. What a game!
But the Marlies, Peter Granberg the outlet pass, and then a nice pass up the middle, and off to the races is Carrick. The fake backhand pulls it to the forehand, and the goaltender Knapp bites on it big time, and a chip play by Sam Carrick, and he gets his 15th goal of the season. Outstanding work by the youngster. Sorry, his 14th of the season, second of the game.
Here's Leavell. Cross ice. Crawford picks it up, sends it in. Less than 10 seconds to play. McIntyre lifted out and down the ice. That one will wobble. Whoa! In as Greg McKegg may have picked up his 20th goal. Is that a goal, or is they going to count that?
No, the green light came on. I don't think the red light, I don't think it got there beforehand, but nonetheless, the Toronto Marlies, with their 25th home victory of the season, close out the regular season on a winning note as they get set for the playoffs next week. And a 4-3 comeback victory here against the Rochester Americans as they trailed in period number 3 here, 3-2, on a back-to-back goals to win the hockey game. And they got to feel pretty happy with what just transpired here in this last 60 minutes.